Action, motherfuckers! Blue Rose Skeptics in this bitch.
Yo.
Here we are with Sour Baileys. Yo, at Not For Listening. At Sour Baileys, bitch. Disney. And I got the Disney hat to show it. And I'm Luca Nevik, yo. At motherfucking Nevik, yo. Missing no bitch. Fuck you. We're doing Blue Rose Skeptics right now. And fuck, we're interviewing a special guest who is not going to be on the screen or physically or visually on camera, but you shall see their silhouette, and I will show you right now, in this moment, our guest on the wall, as you can see.
To be unnamed.
Exactly, unnamed. And that's him right there, that's the silhouette. We're going to get into it right off the bat. And it's unnamed. So this is our first unnamed interview. First anonymous. So enjoy these awesome visuals. Please introduce yourself.
Well, I am a practitioner of occultism, left-hand path. I follow the teachings of Michael Ford, and I am a Luciferianist.
Welcome. So, where to start? I guess, first off, I want to say, whatever you're comfortable sharing going forward, you don't have to say anything you don't want. But Nevik, what were you thinking about how to start this off?
First of all, if I do say so myself, Sir Baileys, would you mind doing me a favor actually and putting on a dope visual instead of Trippy Red Topanga official music video? Only because it would be cool to have a cooler background just while we're doing this.
Let's do it.
And we can take this small moment. However, we have our guest here who we are dancing around not saying this motherfucker's name. Okay? But that's fine. It's part of this fun challenge.
If you slip up, just put a beep over it.
Exactly, but we won't slip up because we're lit. So, basically, what would you like to talk about? Because I know there's a few things.
I think I could start off with how I got into it and where it started and how this changed me and who I was before, because it was never this way, and it's not something that I ever thought I would get into in the slightest. I think it all ties back to, in reality, death is where everything started. If you want to start there, I could start from the very beginning.
Yes, please.
All my life, since not too long ago, I was a very devoted Christian. My grandma got me into everything, the Bible. I had a children's Bible at fucking birth. I held that shit in my hand. And I had people around me, good people, all these people who were supportive, these people who told me everything I believed was valid. I went to church, I used to praise, everything like that. And I went to schools where I was taught that, the Jesus way is the way of life. You live, breathe Jesus. Hell is a scary place. And I think that completely shattered my childhood, because I had parents who would tell me that every time I did something wrong, I would go to hell, which was their way of punishing me in a way. They would say, I remember once I took a cookie when I wasn't supposed to, and my mom said that I was going to go to hell because I was sinning. And I thought about that for weeks, and I was crying, and I was telling myself I didn't want to go to hell. How could I do it right? And I'm watching that happen firsthand to my brother, because my mom tells him all the time that he's going to go to hell and he's going to do all that, and essentially brainwashing him into believing that everything he does that is wrong, he's going to go to hell for and be punished for eternity, because that's what I was told.
That can really branch out and affect everything in your life, right? Like, It's
it did.
pretty shitty.
Yeah.
If I could say so myself, like, I think the one thing about religion is, like, I myself have known people that are very religious, but, like, when it's, like, threats constantly to, like, your overall existence, that's, like...
It was terrible.
Man. Sorry, I just wanted to interject that, but... is, like, your entire family Christian?
Yeah, for the most part. My dad, my grandma was my mom's more relaxed about it in a way, but she also does the threat shit, but she's not like the churchy. That's my dad. My dad is the super churchy, everything we do is for Jesus. My mom is just the do this and we go to hell. And obviously not anymore, but that was, I think until I was 10 years old, I was believing that shit. And everything I did, I had anxiety about doing. And I think in a way that also molded me to being worse, because it's like, fuck, I want to get out of that feeling, because I was feeling that for so long that I'm going to go to hell, I'm doing this wrong, everything I'm doing is wrong. Like, if I failed a test, I thought I was going to go to hell. It was like that until maybe grade 5, 6, until I met my friend Matthew, who's currently in rehab for drugs. Tons of shit. But he changed my life in, quote unquote, making me woke. I completely shut all that shit down about what my parents were telling me. For 2 reasons. I think the main reason was because I met my friend, and the second reason was death. My grandma died, who was, I think, the biggest person in my life, because my mom was always shitty, my dad was pretty shitty too. And I felt like my grandma was my mom. And when she died, I questioned everything. I was like, why did this happen? Why didn't Jesus stop it? Blah, blah, blah. And I would ask my parents that all the time. And then I had this, like, revenge. Like, I had to do something about it. And I had to question why this would happen, if there was a God, if there was something above us, if there was something that's keeping us protected. So I think it all started as a revenge, which, if you go back in time, was basically how Satanism started, as a revenge and a way to spite the Christians, which caused a bunch of shit. And then later in time, as we were talking about earlier, the Satanic Panic, that's how it started. And that's how I felt, as like, I needed to get that revenge. I needed to do something. I needed to become the Antichrist, because I felt like it was God at fault of why my grandma died, because she was super Christian, and she would also be the type, like, you're going to hell, but like more chillaxed about it. And that was the big thing that changed. So that happened before, and I didn't really feel that until I met my friend, who was very atheist, not much Satanist, but he believed in a lot of the principles of theistic Satanism, which is the belief of entities. But he was also schizophrenic with mental illness, which I did not uncover that I had until I was 14. We would always talk about life and how, like, the things that he would see, and he would always tell me that he would see this creature, essentially a worm. It was this very vague description, a worm with like a very black, almost like you can't really see it, kind of look to it. Just imagine a worm, like a worm that you'd see on the ground, just the darkest you've seen anything in a scary kind of sense, that you don't even feel its presence. He would always tell me that he would see that in his room when he would sleep, and he kind of succumbed to it and saw it as a comfort thing, like, this thing is here for me, whatever it is protecting me. And that really stuck with me. So I looked a lot more into it, and I found this one person. It was on Discord, actually. There was a server I was in. it was just a bunch of shit about witchcraft, about Satanism. And I turned to theistic Satanism, and I taught my friend a lot more because it was comforting. It was a comfort thing, and it felt like revenge and like spiting God, which is exactly what I wanted. And bringing these things to life and letting them take me felt like I was doing what was right. And that was just my life from like 13, 14. And after that, it's funny because online shit and Discord has a lot of shit in play here because after that, I was in a Slipknot Discord server where I met my friend. He's still my friend. His name was Zah, just Z-A. And he brought like the sense of this shit is wrong to me. So I turned back at, I think, the end of me being 14.
Just to specify, like, what shit is wrong?
Like, just the whole Satanism. Because he taught me more about the Bible and shit and about Jesus. And at the end of that, I turned back to it for a little. I still remember him.
So he's like confirming everything that your parents were like...
Essentially, because I didn't have a real figure to explain it to me. Because it felt comforting that I had something there for me. That's why I looked into Jesus more. To have that comfort, because it was scary too. Because I was 14 and I had a lot of shit going on. I got tested for ADHD, autism, all types of shit. I have extreme anxiety, schizophrenia, and depression, ADHD, which I'm all on meds for. So back to what I was saying. I got back into Christianity and Catholicism, especially Catholicism. I pushed Christianity aside. I don't remember the big reason, but there was something about the church which gave comfort to me, and knowing that it was there for you. And I turned to that, and it was a comfort thing. And I don't really know how I got out of that, because for almost a year of my life I was a Christian again. And I turned out of that because I didn't feel it. I switched and I found Luciferianism. Very weirdly, I feel like it was me searching for something. At first it was being agnostic and then atheist. So many different beliefs I had. I thought I was Buddhist at once. It's like that need to switch and change how you feel and your beliefs.
It's like a searching.
Yeah, because I needed to search for what really stuck with me. And that's why when I met Zah, it changed a lot for me because I thought it was right, and because I'm a very easily influenced person, I thought it was right to turn back and to believe all these things about God and the Bible, and it didn't feel right eventually. It turned to something that I didn't want anymore, and I found Luciferianism while I was looking for other religions and how it was a small little niche group of people. And I found a bunch of forums. I don't remember the website. The Occultist Tape, the Occultist News, which they had a big thing of Luciferianism on it. And it really, really struck me about Pluto and how things change in the universe given Pluto's position and how Lucifer reigns Pluto. And it stuck with me because astrology and all that, because even my grandma told me that I was a Gemini and it meant a lot of shit to me. And that's why astrology stuck with me as well. And once I found this, it felt like I could be more eased with something. Because I feel like when you're in something like Christianity or Catholicism, it's a big thing. It's so much overtaking you and so much you have to believe in. But with Luciferianism, it's more like, damn, this thing exists, but I don't have to worship it. So I found that, and one of my friends bought me a book. Her name's Haley, The Bible of the Adversary, which I've read countless times. And that the Black Flame and Lilith it all just felt right to me. And I was searching for more. So I got into occultism and Haitian voodoo, which I have some ancestors that are Haitian on my mom's side. So I felt like my ancestry had a lot to play in it. Haitian voodoo and occultism, everything. And I was always scared as well because I didn't find out that I had schizophrenia until later on, because even as a kid I was seeing things. My mom was telling me I was talking about a man with no foot, which I don't know much about. I have to ask my mom more about that. But I've always seen things all my life. So it felt good to know that maybe this were people protecting me, which is why I got into occultism, and which is why I started summoning the demon that I currently work with named AIM. I had candles, red candles, which got taken from me by my parents, and I would bleed on sigils, and that's how I would invoke it, and I would make deals with it. And Marbas as well was another demon that I worked with a lot. And the way that I would talk to them is I would do that, and then I would project to this very, very weird place. Like, imagine you know where you are, but you don't know where you are. Like a deja vu kind of place. Like you've been here before, but you've never been here before.
Almost like a nostalgic.
Right. I would project to these places, and I would talk to nothing. I would sit there and I would talk to myself. And the words would come out of my mouth, and it was like you're talking to something, but you're talking to yourself.
Was it like ever like verbal, like you would actually say things out loud?
Yeah, I would.
That was not yourself?
Yeah. And that happened in real life too, a lot of times. But it was my way of contacting, speaking to myself. And that's how I made deals and put myself in a position where I wanted to become a duke as well in the astral plane. So I made deals. I made a deal for knowledge with AIM, where I would be essentially a portal for him in the human world, and he would feed me knowledge, and a duke, basically make me a duke, which is, there's 7 dukes, but there's positions under where you can reign. So imagine a tree, the stem is dukes, and then there are other dukes in the branches that you work under with demons. So mine was AIM because his shit was prosperity and recognizing the evil and not fearing it, which was my biggest issue, because I always had problems with fearing evil because of what my parents always told me about hell. So I really wanted to have comfort in that, which is why I do now, because I worked with it, and now I understand that everything is evil, and there's nothing to be scared of, because that's life, if you put it in perspective. And knowledge too, like knowing what things are about and how the astral plane works and where our souls go, which is what questions that I always wanted to know, which is what I became myself, or I became a portal for knowledge and recognition. So essentially, selling your soul, people say, they call it selling your soul, and it's in sections. You can sell yourself to be a portal, as I am, or you can sell your soul, which is what all these people do, and they sell themselves out, and they sell their souls and their blood and their bodies, everything about them, to demons. It's not, there's no big devil involved. There's no selling your soul to a devil. You can work with Lucifer, but you don't sell your soul to a devil. You sell your soul to a demon in specific, which have the properties which you're searching for. So money, all these things, knowledge. And for me, it was being a portal, which I now do through music and shit, which we can talk about. That's how it started.
Damn, thank you for sharing all of that. Yeah, that's definitely more intense than.
A lot of it is not. It doesn't come easily, like at the top of my head.
Nevik, do you have any input?
We're at 20 minutes, but that was very insightful. we appreciate it. We definitely went over who you worked with. We definitely went over with your origin and your beliefs. We definitely went over just the like who you really like the origin, who you've worked with. But I'm and also of course like the path of it. But I'm curious about who, or maybe like what you've done basically with, I guess, rituals with what you're willing to talk about.
Yeah,
but
sure.
also like that's just one thing. But the secondly is things that visually you've seen, whether or not it's like you believe it's hallucination or like other, because I know you mentioned the one like a man without a foot, but that was like something from when you were a kid, basically, right?
Has there been like any like extremely recent events that you've like seen anything?
I mean, in my dreams all the time, that's where it usually comes. But for mostly, my schizophrenia is voices. So I hear shit all the time, and I see things. But the seeing things stop because I'm on my meds now. But the voices, they're always there, which is why I know that it's not schizophrenia. Because back way before, when I was young, I was talking about voices that I was hearing and the man without the foot that I was seeing. But when I took my meds, I stopped seeing a lot of shit. But the voice is stuck, which is why it's hard to acknowledge, or it's hard to recognize what is what.
For the most part of like the voices, like do you have? You said that you don't have a trouble discerning, like what might be like a hallucination from like an actual entity that's trying to talk to you, or is it like very random?
It's usually you can kind of tell by the way that they speak, because when you're talking to somebody, because schizophrenia, it's what you create in your mind versus an actual entity thing with its own mind, essentially.
Yeah, like external from.
Exactly. So when they say things that I don't understand or know, it's easier to recognize than when it's something that I've created. If it's knowledge or asking me a question that I don't know or talking to me about something that I don't know, it's way easier to recognize than if it's something that I created.
And I'll also say this, from what you explained, that, like, you were constantly having fear, like, put into you from a young age from Christianity. But, like, on the side of occultism, I can even relate to, for myself, like, when I have a similar story, except not as, like, I haven't been talking to demons and shit, but, like, like, I remember Christianity is very yes and no, black and white. You're doing this wrong if you're not doing it this way. But, like, when you start exploring and, like, searching for, like, other things, it's not as black and white, and it's, like, you have a little bit more freedom to, like, explore and, not feel
As,
yeah, exactly.
like shunned for doing something wrong, right?
Right.
I just thought that's interesting. And, like, obviously, since you said that your visual hallucinations stopped and yet you still hear things, like, I feel like that is definitely something that holds value, because, like, look where you're at. You're, like, very successful with music and everything, and if you say that it's been helping you, that means something, right?
Right.
Speaks volumes for sure.
So I think that's dope.
It's more like an export kind of thing. A lot of the ways that I do, like, art, it's like an export. It's like, as I said...
Like channeling.
Channeling, exactly.
And channeling is a form of possession, isn't it? I've heard.
In a sense, well, I am possessed. When you work with demons, you're possessed, which is scary because if you don't do the things that they ask, they take you over, basically. Which is why you do things, and I know of people who have been asked to do very, very shitty things for the demons. That's why you don't work with people, or sorry, demons. You don't work with demons who you don't trust or build like a relationship with. Which is why, for me, with Bune and Aim and Marbas, the three demons which I work mainly with, it's that connection. And I didn't feel that as much with Lilith. That's why I didn't work with Lilith. Because Lilith is more like motherly love, empowering. Bune is money and wealth and clout, which is what all these rappers and shit, it's Lucifer and Bune. Bune is under Lucifer, and then if you work with Bune, you can work up to Lucifer. But for me, I worked with Aim specifically because I knew that the shit that I have to do for him, which would just be channeling and exporting shit, and blood especially, because demons want things from you. Like, there's demons who want oranges from you, which is Bune. Bune likes oranges and blood and babies and dead humans. But Aim is mostly blood, which is why I think I was talking to you before that I think in total I've had to draw at least 2 liters of my blood. Not at once, but in total, 2 liters of my blood on sigils and candles, and that elk head that I was holding in that picture I had to use for a ritual. You give them what they want, and they give you what you want in return. That's how it works. It's a deal.
So it's like the bigger goal that you may scheme up. Mm-hmm. You'd be like, I need like X amount, like a lot more than before.
Right.
So it's like a lot more dedication, you know, like, do you have any, like, I know this sounds kind of like weird to ask, but like moral standpoint where it's like, you know, when it comes to like sacrifices and things, like how far you're willing to go for
well, I've met people on forums who've had to eat babies for their demon, which is terrible. I don't know how much of that shit is real, but I've seen people and talked to people in forums who have been told by their demons to eat babies.
Crazy fucked up.
That's why for me, because I knew what I was getting into. One of my friends...
And that's a part of the Luciferian side of it, though? Like, that's a Luciferian...
What do you mean?
Well...
Like, because, like, the eating babies, like, is that not still, like, asked?
No, because that's only if that's under a demon under Lucifer.
It's essentially... Demons are different from what they give you and what you give them. That's why if you look at all these rappers and the shit that they do... And they export shit in different ways. We don't know what the fuck, like, Lil Uzi's doing. Because I know damn well that dude sold his soul. To probably Bune, so he probably has to do the same shit.
I'm just wondering as well, like, if these entities not only have other names for themselves, but I'm also wondering if specifically the difference between, like, Lucifer and Satan for maybe people that wouldn't know. And also even where if Beelzebub plays into this at all.
Yes. So, in Luciferianism, we don't believe in a Satan because that was used as a bad, evil name for Lucifer. That's why we call him Lucifer, because that was a name given by Jesus, God, which God exists in Luciferianism, but I'm an atheistic Luciferianist, so that's symbols, that's not belief in like God and angels and what reigns over Luciferianism. So I believe in the symbols, which is what they do for you, which is through the astral plane and your soul. And then you were talking about Beelzebub?
Yeah.
It's more like a creation of Lucifer, like not necessarily an alter ego or like, because everything comes from Lucifer. It's all a tree. So if you put it in perspective, everything is Lucifer in Luciferianism, because even Lilith is part of Lucifer, even all these other demons.
Now, would you say that, like, you know, speaking on names of demons and such, do you think this all accurately falls under biblical stances of, you know, how demons have been recognized since the start? Because, like, that's the recorded history of how people kind of know the fallen angels. And also, do you think that they are fallen angels, or if they're just entities of themselves?
There are good entities and good symbols, which Lilith is a part of Lucifer, which is good, like female empowerment, which is why I know a lot of women that work with Lilith, and that's motherly love, empowerment. So it's all under a tree, and in biblical sense, no, because that's more they came to destruct and create evil, but it's more they came to, in a sense, channel their energy into you and into Earth. I feel like
just for your soul
exactly, and exist because they can't, they don't want to be stuck in the astral plane, which, and many times when I've talked to AIM, he tells me how scared he is and how he's trapped in the astral plane and he wants to be on Earth and he wants to be a human, and that's why you channel it. You give them things, they give you things, and you channel them onto Earth through music, through whatever it may be, through summoning rituals, which occultism.
The thing I find interesting is that, coming from the standpoint of them being an angel of God and then, maybe turning against it, like they had a purpose to start off, if they were created in that sense, but like turning away, they had to find a new purpose, right? And that's why it's like less black and white, like why some demons are known to be very friendly and like, they have good qualities and bad qualities, which is like every person.
A lot is in power because there are 7 dukes of, well, they're called 7 dukes of hell or 7 dukes that reign, which are basically the highest at the top. So they have more power, they have more energy because they're being fed more because people tend to work with them more. And then there's demons that are lower on the scale, which AIM is one of the 7 dukes, but he's on the lower scale. And then there's Bune, Beelzebub, all these demons which are created by Lucifer or essentially parts of Lucifer, like a tree, branches of Lucifer that are lower on the scale that give you things. It's all about what you want or what you long for, which is what they give you, which is why you don't work with a random demon. Like for me, Marbas, Bune, and AIM are the most for me because that's money, that's wealth, clout, all that, being recognized, and the no fear, which was the biggest thing for me because I didn't want to live in fear anymore, which is why I turned to AIM, because he takes that away and he helps you recognize evil.
Damn. That's
So
I can talk about rituals too, if like how they play out.
Yeah, that I wanted to ask 2 things. Like, first of all, it's cool that there's vulnerability in the entities that you talk with, and it would be cool if you reveal any more of that vulnerability, because it just reminds me of a moment in Paradise Lost, which was a very old, like 1600s book or poem that was about literally the perspective of Satan or Lucifer. First his name was Lucifer, and then he fell and he took upon the name Satan, and according to this book, where it was all about his perspective in the fall of man with Adam and Eve, and
even with like think of it before that, take out the complete part about the fall and turn into Satan. That's what I believe in, that there was nothing like that happened, that there was only Lucifer, there was no fallen angel, nobody kicked out of heaven, nothing like that.
So then, if there was only a Lucifer ever, like,
but everything is created by a god, which is a prominent belief in Luciferianism, that there's always a god over everything. There's always something in a universe that created this, and what the demons basically are is it spawns, and a lot of it is humans too, because if you work as a portal, if you work with specific demons, you could essentially become a demon. In the afterlife, in the astral plane, that's where your soul goes, because you're judged
frequencies up.
You're judged in the astral plane by God, essentially, which is why the heaven and hell thing exists. It's where your soul goes in the astral plane. There's no real physical place, but your soul will forever live on in the astral plane, which is why you can become a demon. You can channel yourself back into Earth, which is what these demons long for. That's why you work with them. And they give you things as well because they have that power. given by God. Because God created evil and good.
So, how did Lucifer come to be created then?
So there is... I don't have knowledge on what is the head of good, which is why people created Jesus, why Luciferianists believe in Jesus, that Jesus exists. But there's... we'll say Jesus, and then there's Lucifer. But if I'm looking on the side of Lucifer, that there's two entities created which are above all after creation of Earth. So Earth was created, there was humans on Earth, evolution, everything like that. And those humans, after the fact, after humans existed, evil, and those evil people, those murderers, because you know about shit like cavemen killing each other. They go up, they become evil.
Ties
They get
back
taught
to the
by God.
monolith from earlier.
Exactly.
The monkey with the bone.
They get essentially, from what I know, from reading a bunch of books like Vampire Magic, which tells you a lot about how it started.
Sorry, go on.
Which tells you a lot about how it started is, it's like a judging system, like a belief system, and a recruit and a training system. So they train these evil people into being demons, or their spirits, to live on as demons.
So it's like an evolution.
Basically, like how humans evolved, demons did as well.
So it's like,
Okay.
And
So-
there's scales too of demons. People who die, if you are an evil person who dies because your soul is judged, you can very much become a demon. Or if you work with them and you channel their energy onto Earth and you channel yours back up, you can become a demon as well.
But do you like...
That's how saints, right? If you look at saints, imagine that principle in...
principalities, right?
Right.
But like, I'm just wondering also like about how you describe God to have created Lucifer, I guess, because like...
Well, think of how God created man, right? God created this...
Was there a purpose for creating Lucifer? If like God's
Well,
omnipotence
because there
knew?
there has to be something to judge. Well, God judges our souls, but there has to be something to reign over, like a guardian, right? That's why it's a tree of Lucifer. There's a guardian, and then there's branches. The tree is Lucifer, and the roots of the tree is our mind, if you believe in principles. So imagine like how there's a tree, and then there's branches, and then apples. So we're the apples on the tree of Lucifer.
We are?
Well, I am. You know, people who believe in it, Luciferianists, occultists.
Okay, because that ties into how in even Paradise Lost, which again was the perspective of Lucifer falling from grace, even though you're in the Luciferianism religion, but you're talking about yours is atheism.
Atheistic
atheistic
Luciferianism.
Luciferianism.
Yeah, which is symbols.
I have a question. Back when I was a kid, there was one book that really fascinated me, and it was the Screw Tape Letters.
Oh yeah,
And
by
it was
C.S. Lewis, Narnia.
Yeah, and it was like from the perspective of Wormwood, and I can't remember the other demon, but it was two demons. Like, in your conversations with your demons, has there been any other names brought up of other demons?
Yeah, absolutely. It's basically a recruiting system by you talk to one demon about what you're looking for, and it's like a referral almost, which is how I started talking to Marbas, because Marbas is like treating yourself as a god and your self-worth. That's what he's about. And that was one of the problems that I had, self-worth and fucking hating myself. So I was told to work with Marbas, so I did.
I just imagine like a demon hotline. They're like, "Hello, who'd you like me to forward you to?" Their extension is 3412.
But they tell you how.
Six. Sorry, that's the...
They tell you how to work with the demon and what they want. So it's like, it could be very niche things sometimes. Like pen ink is what you need to work with Marbas. Pen, you have to bleed on a sigil with pen ink and candle color too. Candles are a big thing. So pink candles is for Marbas, red candles for Lucifer, shit like that. Whatever candles you use and what you bring as an offering judges if they will take you as one of them, essentially.
So, two things. I did want to say, the way you brought up the tree of knowledge, I see that correlates for sure, and I could definitely see that with being the symbolic representation of Lucifer, and I think that adds credence to the fact that God would create him on purpose for the sense of free will that is given as a gift, of course, to all life, and that's, in my opinion, as well. Even like I said, how I brought it back to the Paradise Lost story, is just that it's all like God let even Lucifer rebel and fall when like he just knew that it would all happen and was okay with it because he had to respect the free will of all life.
Right.
And I find Lucifer to be like the person or the archetype that without him you would not have free will, right? Because, and again, I keep quoting it, but they say in that story that like it was the moment in the great announcement of God saying that has his son, he's extending himself to his son Jesus. That was like the great announcement of God that basically he announced to all of the heavens that like they were all to treat Jesus and like his son as an extension of God, right? And Lucifer, being the highest like reigning archangel, was very much wanting to have that position, right? And was jealous of Jesus' position, wanted it, and in that moment of jealousy, envy, he basically spawned and birthed sin and death. And that's really cool from the story's perspective. I highly suggest everyone look into it just out of its coolness. But basically, like, sin and death starts to creep into all of creation, right? And and God still knew that, right? And that was almost like it was a part of the great announcement, which is crazy that it all just happened at the same time. And then, of course, and then literally what happens in that part is Lucifer gathers a third of the heaven, a third of it, of the heavens. And if you break down like a third, like 1 divided by 3 on a fucking calculator is 33, I believe, 0.33, which is even like a divine number for enlightenment. 33. The 33rd, there's 33 emotions, I believe. I could be fucking that up, but basically all I'm saying is Lucifer creates a diamond throne, sits on it, and tells everyone that you could have the power. You don't remember when you were born. You're angels. You could have God's power. You know, like we're all, you know. Abdiel, an angel, says, what the fuck are you on, basically, and goes to God and tells him. God knows this is already happening, but basically what happens here is the war begins from Lucifer's army and the angels of God, and how it begins is Lucifer rides up on a golden chariot, and Abdiel comes up and is like, you're just copying God, you're doing the same, like you're not original, you know, like you're just trying to do the same shit, you're not even powerful. You can't have power without a line of connection to God. And basically, Lucifer's like, well, I can have this position, I can do it better. And then that's when Abdiel hits the first heavenly blow, which blows him 100 like feet back. And it's like, it was described as that battle being like an elemental battle. They didn't even use weapons. It was like earthquakes, lightning, thunder. Like it was a crazy in heaven fight. First war almost. And then like and I know I'm going off, but basically it's just, this is all, I feel like maybe I'm naming these names too to see if you know, like if you've heard, because I don't know if any of the demons ever mention like angels, like if they have opposition, but, and I'll let you go on that, but basically I just wanted to mention that because literally like the fact that what happens in that fight is Jesus literally pulls up in also like a golden chariot, but it's clouded with lightning, or like 1,000 lightning, and like hands of God pushing across the fucking armies. And when Lucifer sees it with his army, he like out of fear like jumps down to hell and all the angels follow him. And like, isn't it funny that like it was fear that like made him do that when he was originally trying to like overpower God and shit, and it was just like crazy that everyone still jumped with him. Apparently they lay down in hell after falling 9 days all the way down. They lay down for 9 days in hell, And then that was when Satan created the plan for the fall of man, and he breaches Eden on some other shit that I highly recommend. It is a fictitious story. Historically, it is a fiction.
It's a metaphor. That's what.
But I still think that there's like fucking.
There's some truth in it, in a sense, because there are obviously, when your soul is judged, people who are sent to be trained as demons who don't want to be, right? But there is how God created both. Is He created this whatever being who runs angels, which is not part of my belief system. I could go more into it, but since I'm an atheistic, Luciferianist is more believing in the principles of what you want in the evil sense. But they were created as just spawns of God, evil and good, to judge souls of Earth after Earth was created.
So they're basically neutral.
Not necessarily.
Some are good, some are bad.
Like, what do you mean?
Well, like, I'm just wondering if there's like a spectrum of, because like,
well, it started off so
because you're talking about like you're atheistic Luciferian, and you do speak to demons. Is there an opposition, like a polarity to the demon though? Like, is there not angels?
Well, I definitely do believe that there are good spirits, maybe not angels, but even demons who are good. But I know for a fact that there are good things out there, like whatever you want to call it, if you want to call it an angel, but that's not in my belief system. Angels are God. It's more the recognition of evil and symbolism and speaking to them in the astral plane, like spiritually. And I know of people who have talked to like angels and shit, of what they've said, that they've like had sex with angels, because even angels are corrupt too. Like, I know people who said that they've been like raped by angels, which is crazy. That's why I say everything comes from evil, because even angels are evil.
Yeah. I mean,
technically, like when you say demon, it is an angel.
But it's a fallen angel.
Yeah, but
you don't believe in like fallen angels.
But that just goes to show it is an angel, though.
Of course, but
therefore
it's
all
still
angels have
it's good and necessarily bad. A spirit more than like an angel.
Or like an entity, a thing. That's why there's no... It's not necessarily called demons and angels, just a good spirit, a bad spirit.
Yeah, and I will add to that point that it's like almost like a template of free will as well, for everyone being inherently evil but can still choose good.
It's more, it's your belief system.
And also, if I may add, myself as a Métis person, like the gods that some of the, Cree people followed.
And also, sorry to interrupt, but
no.
It's, the whole tree isn't just Luciferianism. Like, I've worked with like Egyptian gods, I've worked with like Aztec gods. It's like a big thing. It's just the astral plane, period. Good spirits, bad spirits. There's no demons, angels, no... I call them demons because that's how they're recognized and how they're called.
But they're really just spirits.
Really just spirits, exactly.
Spirits, and that's kind of ties into like what I was saying with like the Cree belief is like, like they believed in like animals as spirits,
exactly,
right? And like the coyote is not an evil spirit, but it is a trickster, right? Like he has negative qualities about him that he'll like want to fuck with people, but like at the end of the day he's not trying to harm anyone.
That's exactly how angels are represented.
And and I've also heard different demons have different purposes and different things that they like, and maybe death is regarded as humans as like a negative thing, but like to a demon it's just another thing to them, right?
I mean, yeah, it's a temporary thing, but literally shout out temporary, but also like I just gotta say, like, it's cool because shout out Leonardo da Vinci for making the Vitruvian Man. Such a wow, what a nice drawing. Lol, it's obviously it's just a man like this with a star, right, and his dick out and everything. Point of that is, oh whoa, what is actually the point of, why do you just draw a naked man? Well, it's like, why with the star? The symbolism that I'm aware of with it is that it's supposed to depict the platonic solids, which are the fucking elements that...
Yeah, that's what stars basically are.
What a star is?
Pentagrams, yeah. And that's why there's the Jewish star. I don't know what it's called, Star of David.
Star of David.
Yeah. It's more. It ties all into the belief system of what that religion is. That's why even with Luciferianism, there's no pentagrams. Like when you do rituals, it's not like you do like pentagrams and shit. That's with Satanism because, and there's a 7-point star too, which is a 7. Like the 7 sins, whatever you want to call it. The 7-point stars, which is used in theistic Satanism. But there's no stars in Luciferianism because it's more, it's like your own system kind of thing. Like you choose who you want to work with, but you make your own principles under that demon.
And I really
Contracts. Sort of. Like imagine being signed to a label that lets you do your own things creatively, but you're signed to them, they do things for you. That's how it is. Like how labels can get you tapped in with all these artists, all this type of stuff. It's like that. And if you work with one demon, because you can't just jump and say, oh, I want to work with Lucifer.
Yeah.
You have to work with probably Lilith first, because Lilith is closest to Lucifer, then Aim, all these different demons. You have to work with at least, I think it's 6, 7? No. Yeah, I think it's 6 until you work with Lucifer.
So 2 things. First off is with the elements that we're able to have power of with our consciousness, which elements are our consciousness, I believe, because everything is at a certain extent of development. Even planets, with Earth being in this.
Planets are a big thing too.
Oh, what, sorry?
Planets are a big thing too, especially Pluto.
Oh, I imagine. I mean, Jupiter, Zeus, probably is. I mean, all of them are.
It's all.
They
about,
have their symbolic.
For Lucifer, it's
Roman to Greek names or whatever, but like we have on our left arm is our icosahedron, which is water, and it's sacred geometry. Our right arm is our octahedron, which is air and wind. Our fucking left leg is our tetrahedron, which is fire. Makes sense for like vehicle wise as bipedal humans, right? Like literally 2-legged. And then our right leg being our hexahedron, Earth, right? The 4 elements that we're governing as humanity and shit. And then we have our 5th point of the star, which is our spirit, literally the dodecahedron, right? And as it creates more and more like complexity in each sign, I don't know if you know about the logos, but basically the logos, it's like signs as God. But basically, I see like the spirit, the dodecahedron, as like it is the highest literal point of the star. It's the highest point. There's everything else is below it, right? So it's developed to that extent. But I also just bring this up because when I even hear the word angel, it's like a tongue-in-cheek way in my perspective of how God speaks to the world. I know it's silly, but it's literally, I see it as like angles, like an angel is an angle. And I heard other people echo this sentiment before, but I say this because literally, like, think about it. If we refer to fallen angels and normal angels, whatever, there's angels that have high perspectives. And I know, like, it's not a part of, like, your religion either. Or
it's more like a name. Like you could say, like, a good student, a bad student in school, right?
Well, yeah, but I just think it's, like, a funny tongue-in-cheek way that maybe God or the universe could have put in the truth.
But then what about, like, demons?
Well, demon comes from demo, which is, like, literally...
And there's other words, obviously. I don't think that it started with the word demon.
No,
and you
even
also,
angel.
you also
I just think it's a funny thing that like angels and angles, like a fallen angel can be like a low angle.
And you also said yourself
you know?
that you don't necessarily consider themselves demons yourself.
No, I don't.
I see them as different perspectives of spirits.
Yeah,
and they're
exactly.
all a part of one thing.
That's exactly how it is.
So
and same thing with...
That's why I
these
look at
Greek
angels
gods.
as angles, I guess.
Even Greek gods, spirits.
It's all different angles and different cultures in a way.
Exactly.
Like, I wonder if you've ever talked to Greek or, like, Roman gods.
I've talked to Huitzilopochtli, which is a Aztec god. I don't know if you know.
No.
It's like, I think it's air. I don't remember. It was a really, really, really long time ago. Because my mom's Aztec,
That's sick.
I have
Aztec ancestors and Haitian. So I wanted to be more,
Very just.
which is why I got into Haitian voodoo too.
So, I know we're getting pretty long on this, but I think the last things that we could touch on more, unless you want to talk on anything specific, is the lengths, like whatever boundary you're willing to go to and talking about the rituals you've done.
I can say how they play out. So a lot of it, before you invoke it, you need to talk to it, which for easier like feelings, because if you want to talk to, let's say, AIM, like how I started talking to AIM, was I astral projected, and you have to put in your mind where you want to go or who you want to talk to, and you need to do chants.
which is
Chants.
very important.
Yeah, chants, or say things or invoke it in your mind, like, I'm going to talk to AIM, I'm going to do this, my life is
Setting
devoted
your
to
intent.
AIM. Exactly. And once you project, you go to this, as I was saying, this deja vu place, and you talk to yourself, and it tells you what you need to do. So for me, it was candles.
But
Blue
so
candles.
when you talk to these spirits, does it always appear as yourself?
It's nothing. I'm talking to nothing.
Okay.
Like it's
It's
me,
never
it's me.
shown you visually what it looks like.
And not unless I do rituals and I invoke it, no. But even then, it's not like what you think, like, oh, it comes from the ground, I see it.
Yeah.
It appears as things. Like, you know how there's forms for, like, Lucifer, how he's seen as, like, a rabid dog with cloak, things like that. It's,
I haven't heard
and
of
it's,
that, but that's cool.
and it's also how you interpret it in your mind and how you think this demon is going to look. A lot of it is interpretation, because a lot of it is in your mind too. Once you give yourself to them, it's all interpretation. So you could say it's a book.
It's
And
personal and
it'll show as a
subjective,
book.
right?
It's a feeling, really.
Yeah.
Right, because they have part of you. It's, if you really think about it, it's more all in your mind than anything else. Because when you do rituals and it's possessions, it's all in your mind. So it's like you like every time I've done a ritual, I always feel like really weak and I fall asleep. And whenever I'm sleeping is when I see everything in my dreams. Like I see things in real life too. I see like a lot of it is lights. For me, I see lights in areas where there shouldn't be. I see a lot of shit. Like I've seen scary shit before. Like I have sleep paralysis too. For me, it's weird. It's a big hippo, which is my sleep paralysis demon.
Hippo?
A hippo, yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, my sleep paralysis demon is a fucking hippo.
That's
How?
terrifying.
I can explain the lore to you.
Of course.
There's this one video. Do you know that one song in The Lion's Kingdom?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the video of the fucking hippo? I watched that when I was 3 years old, and it terrified the shit out of me, and that's my sleep paralysis demon. So that's how demons come to me, through that.
So it's like real childhood trauma. Childhood
is.
trauma unit. That's crazy. So yeah, because I've had lots of night terrors myself and sleep
But
paralysis.
It's been constant for all my life. Since I was
Same, bro.
Since I was 3, it's the same thing.
I don't have the same shit, but I've had like since I was young. There's an episode I talk all about it. But basically, all that's crazy. My one thing I'm itching about is when it comes to your rituals. Have you? And this is where I don't know if you can talk
really
about.
fucked.
But do you? First, I want to know like the scariest shit you've seen,
For
and I
sure.
also want to know if like you've had real world results or bad
Yeah.
like results even.
Oh yeah, both.
Bad and I want to hear bad, good. Okay, I want to hear scary shit you've seen. I want to hear the bad and good results of the rituals you've done, and I want to also know if like to what extent you've sacrificed. If
Okay.
you're willing to speak on that.
Okay, so first thing I'm going to talk about is how they're performed. So you need to follow the instructions of what you're told by them. So candles, 5 candles for me. It's 5 blue candles, and then whatever they're asking you for. So it's more like what they ask you to do, and what. I keep. All right, so like blood. What they ask for. So 2 liters of blood. I don't know why that is. I know that Bune likes oranges for some reason.
It's like how Ryuk likes apples.
What about blood oranges?
Oh, maybe. But yeah, I had to give blood, and you don't until you have to keep bleeding until you pass out. Basically, it's fucking scary. Like I have like scars. Like if you look right here, like all this shit. I never self harm. Like you see right here, this big ass scar right here. It's fucked. Like I never self-harmed in my life. This is all from that shit. Like on purpose because of like depression or whatever. This is where I leak all my shit. Shit, bro. And once you do that, you have to keep doing that until you pass out. And it's really fucking. It's like, you know when you're having a panic attack and like everything's there at once. It's like that, but imagine like a cold feeling. Like you know what's happening. You know it's there. It's like, imagine you're traveling through a tunnel. And you have to keep talking, you have to keep invoking it, you have to keep like saying that how much you love it, how much it cares for you, how much you want it to be there for you.
It's like a form of meditation almost.
Exactly. It's like meditation to an extreme degree. And once you pass out, it's there, it channels, and it could take over your body, which is the scary part, because I know people who get fucked over in deals where they've done this shit and the demon has took them over and made them do fucked up shit like possessions. Those exist, those are real. Or when they make you, they get you in a shitty deal and they tell you that they're gonna take your soul or kill you if you don't eat a baby or all this shit. Which is why I got lucky, because I knew who I was working with. So once that happens, you pass out and you're like in the same place where you talk to them, but they're there. And you can actually speak to them, and it's like, imagine your soul is out of your body, or imagine your body traveled to a place like you teleported, but you actually see them. You don't know how you see them. You can't explain how you see them. I could not tell you how I saw AIM.
It's not described.
You can't
by
describe
like a physical.
Right.
Way.
It's just
like,
a presence.
Exactly. Like you see it, you know it's there, but you can't say how you don't know how you see it. And in reality, like when you come back and you see them, because the energy is so strong after, you know that they're there, and it's however you interpret it.
Now, can I ask, like, when you've, like, obviously been sacrificing blood, and, like, you start to black out, like, in that moment, do you think, like, oh, this might be the last time I, like, breathe? Like, if I bleed out?
Yeah. But it's not like a bleed out kind of thing. Like you pass out because it makes you basically like it's so much hitting you, and it hits your like heart, like your heart throbs.
Because the demon grips hold of your heart.
Exactly. It's not the blood loss. It's not the actual.
Exactly. You pass out. It's not like you pass out from blood loss.
Because it's such a high, powerful demon, right?
Right. It's like energy, like a light. Like if you shine a light in your face for too long, you'll go blind. Like a light.
So we've talked about your...
Okay, so now good things and bad things. So
the first time... what was the scariest shit you saw?
Okay, so scariest shit I've seen. I was at school and I was hearing shit in my head, so I had to go to the bathroom, and every time I looked in the mirror, my face was just fucked, like really, really fucked up. Like not skin, but like my face was there, but it was really fucked up. Like I had gashes all over my face, like my throat was slit, all types of shit. That shit happens to me a lot, actually. Like I hear shit, I have to go somewhere, and I look at my hands, or my hands are like burning, some shit like that. Like it's scary. Like, do you think it's real?
Do you think that's happening because you aren't obeying or doing certain things that you've signed up for?
I don't know. I don't know why that happened. Because I have extreme anxiety, and sometimes I have to a lot of it started with when I started doing rituals and shit like that. I had really bad anxiety, and sometimes I just have random panic attacks, and it's like I look down, my hands are fucked up. I look in the mirror, like my face is fucked up. I look at my friends, like my friend was trying to attack me, which is what I saw. Like when you're really high on like LSD, some shit like that, and you get so fucked up, like you don't know what's real. Like I've had my friend's face try to fucking like come off and try to eat me, shit like that. Like it's scary, it's fucked up.
Damn.
I haven't had a lot of shit like that happen, but I don't know why it happens. I don't know if it's because I'm not obeying, but because I've never not obeyed. I know that I have to, or else. Like I have a friend who I don't want to name him, but we're really close. Like maybe one day I'll tell you about him. Like I post him on my stories all the time. He's like a good friend of mine. We talk about this shit all the time. And he's in a really shitty deal where his heart is always heavy, he's always fucked up because he doesn't obey. And it's like they punish you over time, like his chest hurts, it's like a stabbing feeling, he can't sleep, shit like that. And it's over time, like he knows he's gonna die soon because he can't do it, because they made him want to kill his own mom. shit like that. Like, they make you do fucked up shit if you get in the wrong deal. He made the deal when he was in jail by some fucking a person that he didn't even think was real, by a person he was in a cell with that he thought was just a fucking demon coming to him, because that shit happens all the time. Demons will come to you. He was in jail and this person came to him and told him how to sell his soul, how to do all this shit, and he got stuck in a shitty deal, and they made him do shit. Like, I know for a fact that he has bodies and that he's killed people before, but they made him kill, like, wanted, or what is it, how the fuck do I even say? Like, they made him want to kill his mom, like, not like go kill your mom, but like they put that thought in his head, like he has to do it, and he got stuck in a shitty deal. He couldn't do it, so now they punish him, and he knows he's gonna die, and I know he's gonna die too. That's how it is. If you don't obey, they kill you. They stop your heart, because it's all in your mind and your brain, because nothing is physical. It's not real physical pain that's being caused by something. He went to the doctor, they told him nothing. It's your brain, because your brain, it sends signals to your body, right? Mm-hmm. They take over your brain.
It's the whole nervous system where, like, they say the pineal gland, you know, is like
that's why I see shit.
Like the pineal gland connects you to like the spiritual aspect, and like there's plenty of cases of, you know, like someone that doesn't have a will to go on, they'll die faster, right? Exactly. Like, and it's like that.
Apparently, the pineal gland withers over time. By the way,
another thing is
when you grow older,
the thing is
the pineal gland withers away as you grow older
and calcifies. Apparently.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
I've had like bad experiences before. Like when this shit happened, like I've tried to take my own life so many times, but I can't. It's like they don't let you because they're like a part of you. Like if you try and do that, like you can't. Like there are some times where I'll be like, fuck it, let me see if I can, and you just can't. Like you can't die. Like how we were talking before about fate and how fate doesn't exist. It doesn't, but you can't die. Like you can't make yourself die because they take you over. Like if you try and hang yourself, if you try and like shoot yourself, you can't bring yourself to do it.
It's like they choose when you go.
Exactly. It's like, it's scary as fuck. Like I've tried so many times. I'm like, fuck this shit, bro. Like it's too much. Like it's like the guilt feeling.
Shame.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, I think about my grandma all the time. Like I completely became what she despised. And it's like that guilt feeling. And it's like, dude, I just want to fucking die, but you can't. It's shitty. And that's how I think a lot of the depression started too. Which I don't really give a shit anymore. Like I just live with it because like I don't really fucking care. It's like my life.
But you're grieving slowly.
Yeah. But when I was earlier into it, and they would always tell me how I would die. Like whenever I did something like wrong, they would punish me, and they would tell me like, because I've done shit wrong. I've never not listened, but I've done shit wrong because it's like I was talking about referrals. If you don't want to work with a demon, they see it as a disrespect, and they do this, and they tell you how you die because they know how you die. So I've been told that I'm gonna die of a shotgun to the head.
Jesus.
Which is scary. They don't say anything. They just tell you how you're gonna die, or they tell you how your parents are gonna die. They tell you how this person's gonna die, but they told me how I was gonna die.
They said shotgun to the head.
Shotgun to the head, yeah. Because it's major disrespect if you don't want to work with a demon that you were referred to.
Now, I have a question. If, like, let's say, you know, like, that is what they wanted, but, like, let's say we're in an alternate universe, and, like, someone hearing this was like, we're going to prevent you from ever coming in contact with a shotgun. You know, do you think that these entities would start, like, fucking with other people who, like, know? And
no, but there's always a way. If you tried to talk about it, like, if you tried and like fucking tell people, a lot of the time that they would kill you. If you were working with that demon who told you how you were gonna die, they would kill you if you told anybody else. But I don't work with that demon, so they can't. But I know for a fact, and it can't change. So even if you were trying to, there would eventually be a way that you would come.
And I want to clarify. I'm not making any like.
No, I get
insinuations of myself doing that towards your demons, but I just want to clarify that to whoever's listening. You know, like I wouldn't do that myself.
But it's fake, right? It's how they tell you, so that's how it's going to happen. If you tell like you're never going to be around a shotgun, right? There's always going to be some way. There's always going to be a slip up. That's how I see it, and that's fate. Like it's scary. Like I know for a fact that that's how I'm going to die because that's what I was told, and it's scary as shit. Because as deceiving as they are, it's happened to a lot of people I know, which is my friend. He said he's going to die of a heart attack. He's having heart issues because he didn't listen to his demons, right? And the day that he told me that he was going to die of a heart attack, it was Marbas who told him, which is a demon that I work with. And I got like really fucked up by Marbas in my dream, who told me that if I told anyone that he'd kill me with a shotgun.
Marbles would.
Yeah, that's what he told me in my dream.
So now we've learned that like they can threaten you like directly with a weapon.
They can, and I don't know how the fuck that would happen.
Would it just come through the evil spirit of like some person
what I
randomly?
But that's what I'm wondering is if, like, you said, like, you know,
And it's
that's not
energy
gonna happen.
too, because it's your soul. If you have a weak connection with your soul, then it's easier for the demons to take over you. If there's so much like of this energy and all this frequency, that's how, like, I don't know about that whole Lavender Town thing, but how these people went insane. It's like that. Like, if you're a fragile soul, if you don't have a connection with your soul, those demons will take your vulnerability and talk to you. So let's say, like, if you had people protecting you from never wanting to touch a shotgun again, but you disobeyed your demon would go to those people, assuming that they have a weak soul or whatever, and make them go insane and get
like-
a shotgun and control them
And then
make
use
them kill
another
you.
person to like
Exactly,
take
like
you
a
out.
puppet. It's scary as fuck.
Yeah.
Because
It's like payment.
exactly, like in this room, who the fuck knows what could happen? I'm not trying to scare any of you, but I don't know if I'm saying too much or whatever. So who the fuck knows what could happen? It's scary.
So sorry, but you've gone over the scariest shit you've seen. You've gone over some of the bad results.
Good results? You want to know about those?
The good results?
Yeah.
Is there also any bad results that we've just haven't heard yet?
Well, like,
that you're willing to share.
I think a lot of it is just like the depression and guilt from it, and like even the fact that I know
There's
how
been
No
That's
death
fun.
though either. Like you're willing to talk.
Like, people are, like,
no, but like animals, yeah. Like I've had, like as I said, that ghost head or the elk's head, I had to kill and skin his face for that.
I guess I can't get you in trouble criminal wise, so I won't ask about how that happens or how it happened. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
We'll leave it that.
No, that was humanely hunted though.
okay, I was wondering if you were a hunter.
No, I don't have my license, but my friend who knew about all this shit, who does it with me, I don't want to name him, but he
He has a license.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
so he shot it, and then I had to kill it, gut it, and skin it.
That's, like, the most humane way, I think, that you go about sacrificing anything.
Yeah, honestly.
It's not like
I
a
mean-
lot of people assume you just go when you have to like slit its throat. It's not like that. As long as you present it something that you like that you drew blood from, essentially. Like I could go and poke you with a needle and then somehow take your head off and then bring it like here. You don't have to necessarily sacrifice it, like do a ritual, slit its neck. It's you have to present it, and you have to draw its blood. Even if you didn't kill it, like my friend shot it.
And also, I think that people think when you say, like, animal sacrifice that it's going to waste or whatever, but, like, you just hunted it, like, and
No,
killed it.
because this person who's my friend, he's not really much anymore.
A friend?
A friend, yeah, but he turned it into like jerky and shit because his parents are hunters and shit.
It's being used, though,
It's being
right?
used,
It's
exactly.
humane.
It's not like I fucking went. "Ugh."
And left it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Which is, honestly, I mean...
That's more respect for
I come
it
from a
too.
family of hunters too.
Same.
And like, you know, I fully believe in that, and you know, like, you know, it's even respecting the animal itself, like
Yeah.
its spirit, and like, you know, if the us as humans, we have to do certain things to survive, right? And I think that comes down to it.
And I had to give the elk's head to aim, which in return, I got a lot of like anxiety relieved. A lot of it is not long term as well. It's like temporary. Like if you have a test and you want to get like your anxiety removed or some shit like that, or if you're going on a flight and you're scared of planes, it's all in the mind. Like a lot of what they control is in the mind. And then there's Lucifer who can control fucking everything, like your money, your how famous you are, and tell you how to get famous, shit like that. Which is what I'm saying. Probably, you know, Axe is working with shit like that. But for me, it's more myself, because I only work with Bune for some shit, and then Marbus for money, which is not even coming. It's supposed to be when I'm 50. But a lot of that was just anxiety and recognizing myself and getting that fear taken out of me,
which AIM helped you with.
Exactly, which is why I work with AIM, because all my life I've had fucking terrible anxiety, awful, all this shit, and fear of like hell and evil, and that it's gone now. Like that's a positive result. Like I have no fear
of evil.
Shout out to AIM for real.
Oh God.
I have no fear of demons. I have no fear of anything evil. I have no fear of anything getting to me. I have no anxiety in that sense. I have anxiety, of course, but like that's all social shit.
But it's not as bad as
I don't think anyone can escape that shit.
Yeah.
It's just for everyone.
So
and finding myself, like when you work with demons, it's all about yourself. Like I feel so much more connected to myself and my soul, and now I understand who I am, which is why I definitely don't regret working with AIM.
Awesome. Do you regret working with anyone?
Marbus a little bit, because I
And
got
to what
scammed.
How so, if you wish.
Because with the deal that I made, I can't talk about what I did, but the deal that I did make was supposed to be for me to get money, and then he said after, oh, you won't get it till you're 50.
So I regret
it was
that.
True, technically.
It's true, but
But just know that I'm gonna be a millionaire when I'm 50.
That's what Marvis said.
yeah.
So
Which
now
which relieves a lot of shit, because at least I know that I'm gonna live to 50. So.
So I'm also wondering about if you've worked with Lucifer himself.
No.
Never spoke?
I have spoke to through other demons, which is Marbus, because Marbus is the closest to Lucifer. I have spoken to him, but I have not worked with him, no.
So then, out of the in a hierarchical sense, for what you've worked with, would it be Marbus?
No, it's Lilith. I've worked with Lilith. I have a tattoo right here.
For Lilith?
Yeah, 1181, which is Lilith's number. You can search that up to validate it if you'd like.
Let's go, bro.
So, I worked with Lilith because it's really fucking corny, but I always felt like unloved in the relationship sense. So I felt like it was more like a motherly figure. But then I didn't need that anymore because I met my ex. So I didn't talk to Lilith anymore.
Cool.
And it's not so easy. Like, I just don't want to talk to her anymore. You have to give an explanation, and you have to do things to close it. Shit like that. It's just like...
You
Bad
need
things
it. You don't need it.
to close it?
Not really. Lilith is really, really...
Chill.
Like, chilled out. Like, I don't know. She's just like you can see her as like a motherly figure. That's why I like Lilith a lot.
It's like you no longer really required.
Exactly. You don't require services. And if she feels you've done enough for her, then it's like, okay.
That's cool that there's spirits like that actually...
It's not like a gang where you can't leave it.
Yeah. I'm wondering, like Marbus, AIM...
I couldn't stop working with them. I have to work with them for the rest of my life.
Those three?
I mean, I don't work with Marbus anymore because I already got what I want. Like, I could just say fuck it, but with AIM and Bune, no, I can't stop. Because if I stop, that means everything will come back, but it'll be worse.
So
It's like you require their services long term.
Yeah, exactly. And I can't just like say fucking goodbye to them because it's major disrespect. Disrespect is a really big thing in the astral plane and in spirit realm. You can't. That's why I've been fucked over for disrespecting. It's really like, I don't know how to.
Have you ever... Would you go into how much you've disrespected? Would you talk about that?
I mean, I've only said I didn't want to work with a demon once, but that's it.
Were they chill about it? Were they like,
No, that's the one who fucking punished me. I can't talk about who it is because then if I speak its name after saying what they told me about punishing, then they'll fuck me up. Because they told me about the shotgun and...
shit.
Oh, that wasn't Marbus?
No, that was like the demon. I told. That's how I got punished by saying how I was gonna die.
Oh, by Marbus.
No.
Oh, a different, completely different demon.
No, so Marbus. No, it was AIM. AIM wanted me to talk to a demon about something, but I said no, and then that demon told me how I was gonna die.
Oh.
And told me that they were going to do it.
That sounds a little salty to me.
So basically Marbus referred you to a demon you didn't want to work with?
No, it was AIM.
Oh, sorry, AIM.
AIM told me, and then they said how I was gonna die, and then they told me they said that they were gonna do it.
Now, I want to ask if you don't like, I don't have any contracts with any demons,
Same.
at least that I know of.
Same.
But like,
can you not know it and be in a contract?
What'd you say?
Can you not know it and be in a contract with a demon?
No, you have to actually like be in a deal with it. But I knew about the shotgun thing before in a way because Marbus told me something about a shotgun, and he made a joke about it.
Damn.
That I was gonna die by a shotgun, and he said, "I'll shoot you with a shotgun." But the person who really told me was the demon who I didn't want to work with.
And does he rank higher than everyone you've worked with?
Yes.
So that's scary to you?
Yeah.
Because the fear of it is why you didn't want to work?
No, because I didn't want to work with him because his principles didn't meet what I wanted necessarily. But I got referred by AIM.
we are coming up to 10 o'clock, just to let you know.
And it is an hour-and-a-half interview at this point. I think it's a very insightful, enlightening, the most spiritually out of all of this our interviews.
This has been the absolutely craziest interview, and like literally we've heard the most real shit I think that we've ever heard. And to be honest, I feel like what anyone's ever spoken openly about. So
I just got
thank you.
The thing is, I have like
we're very grateful for this, and the audience will be super as well.
I got like a shit ton of anxiety talking about it, and it's
hard
just now.
No, like in general, like talking about it's like it makes you anxious because you don't know like if they'll get mad at you for talking about it. Because I always listen, they're always there, they're always in my head. They're fucking making me talk sometimes, shit like that. But it's like that anxiety
They
and
speak
like
for you sometimes.
all the time.
Not with us.
No, not with you.
I hope that we have been respectful on our behalf.
If I let my soul get weak, it's a lot of times during my depression when this happens. Like they speak for me, or I get like really mad and I can't control what I'm doing. Whenever I lose that strong connection with my soul and myself, is when they take advantage of the vulnerability and do shit through me.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of like your homie fucking you over kind of thing.
Betrayal.
Yeah.
So, I'm also just wondering, maybe for a final thing, how fuck, I think it just slipped away.
Also, another thing, how old this shit is, it's like, because a lot of it happens and it feels like it's years and years and years ago. And I don't know if that's on purpose, but it feels like all this shit was like when I was young, but I know that it wasn't. It's like that you lose track of time kind of thing. Because when you spend so much time in the astral plane, time goes by so like slow but so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Do you sorry, just a random question, but like, do you think that, you know, like, people around you that become aware of their presence, that they can like start like reaching out to like people in contact around you who are aware of them?
What do you mean?
Like, obviously now we know like the demons, like from what you've told us.
It's
so, like,
and that's good because now.
Do you think
like,
that they could like
they would
reach
try,
out to us?
No, they would try probably if they felt like you did not, if that had a principle, they would come to you, right? Which is why I found out about AIM like myself, but it really struck with me. Like, you know when you read something, you're like, oh shit, like a realization.
Yeah.
It's like
A revelation.
I felt like that was him coming to me. So he'll come to you like that. He's not gonna come to you like, yo, what's up?
Yeah, you have to have the connection and intent.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. You need to feel like, fuck, I really, really wish I could stop being so depressed. And one day maybe you'll be scrolling on your phone, you'll find a fucking article, you'll read through it, you'll start clicking, you'll see some shit. Like for me, as I said before, it was all Discord, because I met Zaha and then I met like Haley, which is someone who bought me the book. She's really chill. I still talk to her all the time. I think I can bring up their names. I don't think I'll get in shit for it.
We can
You
even
can bleep it later if we need.
No, I think I'll be chilling. I'm gonna talk to Zaha and Haley about it and let them know. So.
okay, bet.
Cool.
Well, my last question that I remembered was actually tied into what you were just saying, like, how about if they would contact us? Obviously, we have to set the intent.
Well, if they would, then just fucking come to me. If you see some shit about it, because then I'll teach you.
Well, yeah.
Because then I could be basically what they want. It's kind of like how Jesus wants you to spread the message, right?
The gospel.
The gospel. It's like that. Like, I have no doubt that maybe they'll be upset about some things that I'm saying, but they'll also be enlightened that I told you about it.
Just cover what I said, bro.
So if I talk to you about it, they will likely come to you when you're feeling like what you need.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling like, fuck, I want to stop being so anxious and so nervous, I want to stop fearing like the afterlife, then they'll come to you. But you have to want it. Even if you don't want to work with a demon, you have to want something in specific before you can't just say, hey, what's up? Can I get something from you? You need to like
Tell them what you want.
I feel like
and
you have
think
to
about
also
it.
be aware of them first before you're like asking for that.
That
too. You can't be like
A Christian wanting like
anxiety, and then AIM
yeah.
starts going for you.
you need to accept the fact that something is going to be a part of you and quite literally take your soul. Maybe not all of it, but still take your soul. Because your soul is sectioned, like how we were talking earlier about, like elements, shit like that. That's also part of the soul. So you sell parts of your soul, or you can sell your soul pure. Or you can sell the part of your soul which controls your mind, or the part of your soul which controls where you go. Shit like that.
That could explain a Gideon. Like when people, to describe what a Gideon is, it's someone that is missing an arm.
And missing
Twin
foot,
Peaks.
missing foot too.
Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
But yeah, that too.
Also, I recommend to the viewers and also yourself, like, to check out Twin Peaks, because like I feel
Look at
like
that poster.
the missing foot, like, person that you talk about really reminds me, and I thought of it like right when you said it, but like a missing foot, I feel like that's a different interpretation that may not have been explained in Twin Peaks, but like kind of trippy.
It's Tulpa, right? Like it kind of reminds me of Tulpa.
Tulpa, yeah, like
If you know
people
what a
say that
tulpa is.
a tulpa is like almost like something that's created inside of your mind that is an entity of its own, that's separate from your own mind but within it. And like I think that almost is very close to like kind of the demon in your perspective, but like, you know, that's just a definition or a word, right? Like I feel like these things go beyond us where we can't explain fully. Like you said, it's not to you really a demon, it's an entity, right?
right.
And I think the demons that I work with, no, I don't see them as a demon or a spirit. I see them as me.
Because everything is one at the end of the day, right?
And I feel like they're parts of me. Like when you have people in your life like that you love and hold dearly. Like if AIM stopped working with me, which they feel they do if you're not putting enough effort, sometimes they'll punish you, sometimes they'll stop working with you as a whole. If that happened, I genuinely feel like I lost a part of me.
Well, shit, man. I don't know what else to say or ask.
I don't know. I wish I could say more, but it's like, fuck. Like, I don't know what I can say. It's like anxiety, like, too much. Like, sometimes I can't think about what to say. Shit like that.
Of course.
That's why it's good that we ask so many questions.
I'll also disclose this information that, like, right at the start of this interview, I was so baked that, like, I had, like, 4 ideas or, like, 4, like, questions I wanted to ask you, and then, like, the camera was, like, on, and I was like,
It'd be like that sometimes. But we did good, I think, for this. Like, we asked a lot of good questions. And
We could do a part 2 of
yeah,
it.
there's always, I could say, like, I was going to say, it's always good to do follow-up. And
season 2.
yeah, mainly right now we're focusing for Blue Rose on doing mainly just interviews and whatever. But if shit goes down, you know, we'll record and we'll follow up. And you know how it is. Noah as well. He's on his own vibe. John as well. Bailey's is here. Nevik is here. And unnamed guest is here.
The creature.
But we got some goddamn nice shit. We got some good content. So, yeah.
That was bonkers.
It's going to take a while for me to edit this because I'm going to pitch your voice
Thank you.
down and shit. But, yeah. That's that for this interview. Thank you everyone who's listening. This one definitely not the longest, but the second longest. So, however, very interesting.
Content.
And we're aware that this episode and last episode are the longest ones. However, we won't be doing this many long ones going forward. It's only this long right now because the people we've been interviewing are legit our close friends. So, you know, just know that as time goes on and we finish our list of close friends to interview, we're also going to get into some other interviews with some other guests that are also quite interesting that we don't know as well. So anyways, say goodbye everyone, Blue Rose Skeptics, motherfucker.
Hell yeah.
Peace.
Throw up the peace sign in front of the TV. Dope. Okay, sick.
Let's go.